Namaste, yogis. Welcome into practice. So I'm excited to share with you today a 60-minute practice where we're going to focus a little bit more on the subtleties that come with the practice, not just the physicality that comes with the practice. We are going to do a physical practice. We're going to move through a vinyasa practice. But today I wanted to offer you a little, offering that we can bring into the energy of the practice. Now, when we talk about the energy of the practice, one of the ways that can come to life is mudras. And mudras being the hand gestures or the seals that we can use in practice. And it's very likely that you have familiarity with certain ones, whether it's Anjali Mudra or Chin or Gyan Mudra. But today I want to do a different mudra that perhaps can give us a new perspective. And the mudra that we're going to use today with our right hand is called Abhaya Mudra. You can just put your hand up just like this. Abhaya Mudra, nothing fancy, it's just a flat hand up. Now, Abhaya Mudra, if you're familiar with, is a mudra that represents this idea of fearlessness, the removal of obstacles, the no fear approach to maybe our energy, our practice, maybe out into the world, into our lives. And you see this at times in things like a Ganesha statue, where you'll see a hand up, or you'll see this idea that we use this not as a way to push things away, but almost to hold our ground with vulnerability to say, I'm willing to explore, I'm willing to see. I might not know how this story ends, but I'm willing to give it a try. And I think perhaps as we start to look towards what I would call springtime weather or shifts or changes in our lives, we all go through different seasons of change. I'm in one now because we're building out and creating new ways in which we share the practice. And for you, it might be something yoga related, practice related. It could be something personal in your life or in your career. It could be something that says, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm willing to try. And so where you'll see that in practice today is in many ways where you are familiar with putting your arms like this in a warrior 2 or your arms like this in a warrior 1. I want you to think about, what does it mean to have that no fear, that fearlessness through the gesture of the hands, but the intention of our actions. I'm willing to expand the arms and see how much space I can take up. In a reverse warrior, I'm willing to explore and be open to the divine, the softness, the feminine side of the body. This is the left side. And so that's what I want you to play with and practice today as we see what happens. And for the sake of this practice, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do, because that is the theme in action. Can we move even into this practice with a willingness just to see, but an openness to explore? So where I'd love you to start, if not already, lie down on your back in a constructed rest position. And we tend to start here quite often in practice, mainly because it shifts the perspective, but at the same time, it allows the body to open. And with your palms, I'd like them facing up, because facing up is that willingness to receive. And a lot of times in our yoga practice, we can kind of get down to the detail where it's not about what the physical action is, but a lot of times what's the intention we hold within it. And even as you settle on the floor for a moment, I'd like your awareness to come down to the palms of your hands. And just for a moment, perhaps acknowledge what you're currently holding. And what you're currently holding might be the workload that you have, the households that you keep together, the responsibilities that you have, or just the feelings and emotions that you have inside of you at this moment. And as you do that, and as you acknowledge that, can you start to bring all of that back into the self so it doesn't feel so far away? And on your next inhale, slide your hands back to the hips and take your hands over your head. Good. And as you do that, on your exhale, bring them back down to the floor. So typically you do these rolling bridges with your palms down. I want you to keep them open and up today. So on your next inhale, lift your hips and reach your hands over your head. And just do that a few times as you inhale and exhale. Every inhale just starts to paint the picture of this openness, this invitation. And the exhale just brings that back down to ground. So it's a willingness, but a steadiness. Inhale. And then exhale, everything comes back down. Do one more time. Inhale, everything comes up. And then everything comes down. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice little hug. And just start to rock yourself up just so you can start to put yourself in a position of practice. I'm going to turn forward so you can see me, but you stay in whichever direction works for you. And in this idea is I want you to take an inhale and just open up the arms, open up the center of the chest and the collarbones. And then as you exhale, bring it all back towards the self. Just do that a few times. Inhale, and the physical action is about opening the upper body. And the exhale is about closing and rounding the back body. And you keep doing that while I talk. But it's bigger than that. This idea of Abhaya Mudra, this idea of fearlessness, this idea of moving through an obstacle has to start with a willingness to try, or a willingness to be resilient, right? An opportunity to kind of move forward. So wherever you are on a journey of needing a little bit of fearlessness, a little or a lot, it's can you start doing that by physically putting your body in a position to be open, vulnerable, and to see what happens. At the same time, it's just a nice way to get the body prepared for practice. All right, so when you're ready, take a big breath in. Bring your right hand over your head and curl your head over to the left side. With that same with your left hand now, with that Abhaya Mudra, instead of reaching to the floor today, can you push it away to the side? So remove that space to the left side and just let that whole line of the left side of your neck get long. Good, and then come back through the middle. Doesn't need to be overly forced or fancy. Take your head over to the left side. With that right arm, push it away so you extend the line of the arm. And again, try not to do the work today just from a physical point of view. Try to do the work from an energetic or an intentional point of view and see if there's something behind or beyond the physical action. A lot of times the resistances that we have aren't just there's a door in the way. It's what could lie on the other side of that door. What might happen or who might be or what might become if a door is opened and we move through it. All right, tabletop position, please. As you step into a tabletop shape, start by allowing the body to just prepare itself for action. And for me, a lot of times what this means is, how do I feel right now? All right, at the time of recording this practice, when we're doing it together, it's kind of midday on Thursday, but if you're watching this at a later time, it might not be. And so for me, at least today, I need a little bit of movement in the shoulders, a little bit of movement and support in the wrists. I need to feel like my feet are waking up, so my toes are tucked and I'm rocking back a little bit. And I need to feel like I'm intentionally putting action into the body. One thing we don't realize is that when we place our palms to the floor and we push down, that can signal or symbol that same Abhaya Mudra, right? That simple connection or seal to the earth. That fearlessness or that willingness to try, right? I don't know how strong my body is yet today until I put more weight on it, but I'm willing to explore through the practice. So let's do this. Place your hands down, stack the shoulders, tuck your toes, lift the knees, and float. And start to feel a floating tabletop. But don't be static today. Be a little bit of moving within it, whether that's forward and back, but just staying in this neutral kind of linear plane. And just start to rock into the wrists, rock into the ankles, and just start to notice how that feels as you land and set up. If it already feels like strong work, you can put the knees down. Otherwise, start to feel how you can stabilize a little bit more. Protract behind you. Take a big breath in. And then downward facing dog, take it all up and back. Now, depending on how long your hamstrings feel today, or literally how the legs feel, the shift in the pose will alleviate through the wrists and move back towards the hamstrings. So pedaling out the feet, bending the knees is going to be a really nice way to move. Good, take a big breath in and a long breath out. And just walk yourself to the top of the mat. Keep it nice and simple as you arrive. Take a halfway lift so there's space in the front body. And then exhale, soften your knees as much as you need and just take a nice forward fold. A nice hanging fold is going to be really beneficial for the way in which the body can open. And just see, where does the body feel strong? Where does the body feel supported? Where do you feel like more space is needed? Or where do you need to hold the line where you only need to do what the body needs, nothing more? Good, unroll yourself to standing, please. Stand in a version of Tadasana. Steady in the body. Hands lengthening. And be open. One of the unique things about practicing together is that you don't know what's coming up. And it's about that willingness to put trust in the process, knowing that the practice will support you, knowing that I'll do my best to support you, and trust that you know how to support yourself, even though you don't know the next steps in the sequence. Start with a simple breath that suits you today. Take a full inhale and a long exhale. Then inhale, reach your hands to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. We will start a little bit familiar because it can be helpful to move us on that path towards newness. Take a halfway lift and step back, Chaturanga Dandasana. When I say familiar, it's sun salutation. So exhale all the way to the floor, but this time take a cobra pose even if you don't want to. So I want you in a cobra pose. So you start to move the shoulders up and back. And while you stay in that cobra pose, can you do me a favor and take your hands a little wider than the mat and roll your shoulders up, back, and down. So you have this opening that comes through the back body. And what you're doing is you're just kind of getting into the shoulder girdle, warming up through the upper middle thoracic, and starting to prepare the back body to be in action. When you're ready, slide your hands back underneath you, come back through a cobra pose, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Big breath in, long breath out. Good, walk to your top of your mat. It's a version of a sun salutation. Take a halfway lift, and then bow forward as you exhale. Inhale, sweep everything to standing, rise and reach with intention, and then bow forward as you exhale. Take a halfway lift, and then step back through plank pose. From plank pose, pause for a moment and steady your plank pose. Now, plank can be either knees up or down. Totally fine either way. But for the moment today, what I'd like you to do is rock your heels as far back as they go and see how the weight shifts and it kind of moves more into the heels of your hands. Now I want you to move your heels all the way forward and you see how it moves into the wrist creases. What I'd like you to do is either walk your hands forward or walk your feet back so that when your heels are all the way forward, you're still stacked shoulders over wrist joint. Good, take a big breath in here. Now lower chaturanga. Go to the floor one more time. Inhale, cobra pose, so the spine's lifted. And then exhale, release your forehead to the floor. Do that twice more before we go back. Inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, cobra pose. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Long breath out. Wonderful. Right leg to the sky, please. Step forward, crescent lunge. Now from crescent lunge, soften your left knee and inhale, reach your hands to the sky. Now this idea of this movement is how we start to bring this action feeling into the practice. If you need to, watch me first. You'll inhale, hands up, and then you'll exhale, push the hands away as you straighten your front leg and bend your back leg. So let's call that a reverse warrior. Watch me again. Inhale. Exhale, Abhaya Mudra, no fear. Inhale. Join me when you're ready. Exhale. We're going to do this about 3 more times. Inhale, it's less about the posture and more about the intention. Exhale. So it's like moving energy, moving air. Inhale. It's going to be warming regardless. Exhale. Get that front leg straight. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One last inhale. Inhale, crescent lunge. Hands to the floor, Chaturanga Dandasana. I'd like you to go through Cobra today. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment to see how that feels. How do you feel about that action now of familiarity through what feels like a sun salutation, but through the action of now of bringing it in and then moving it away. Bringing in the inhale and then moving out through the exhale. Left side, please. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it forward. Soften that back right knee. Inhale, hands go up. 5 of these. Exhale, straighten the front leg, push it away with intention. Inhale. Exhale. Doing the work allows you to feel the value. When you move through the physical, you find the intentional. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, push it away. Inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana. Now, whatever pranayama you're using to kind of make your way through the practice, you're welcome to. Something like an ujjayi can be really helpful for a practice like this because it ultimately gives you that warmth and energetic movement to help through those actions. Good. Come to plank pose, please. I'm out of breath today. It's because I'm talking and because I haven't done a lot of yoga this week. So in this plank pose, steady the breath. Abhaya Mudra, press the floor away so you feel that pressing action. Good. Now drop your knees down so you're in a knee plank position and then send your right heel behind you. Good. Now from this right heel pressing behind you, you're in a knee plank, you're not in a tabletop. You're shifting your weight forward. All I'd like you to do is keep pressing that right heel behind you, lift your left knee. 3-legged plank. Good. Take a big breath in. Exhale, curl like a cat, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged plank. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged plank. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged plank. Place the right knee down, left knee down. Sit back onto your heels. Pause. Now, part of these kind of what I would call simple but powerful awakening postures is allowing us to best prepare ourselves for flow. Flow can often be this misguided word that says, move fast and free. Flow for me is very much how the energy, how the breath can move through us in the most efficient and easeful way. And sometimes that means we need to kind of spring clean a little bit, clear out the cobwebs, get the body in preparation. And that's how this action creates space, right? If you want space in your house, you gotta clean out the clutter. That's what we're looking at today as we move towards this fearlessness of newness. All right, come back into plank position, plank position, please. Start by putting your left knee down, left knee down, right knee down, send the right leg back. So I'm in a 3-legged plank, and when I'm set up here, I'm gonna lift my right knee. Breathe in, knee to nose like a cat, lift. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 2 more. Knee to nose, knee down, right knee down, sit back, release your wrists. Good. Now that the body's started to move into action, take a moment to kind of make space. So bring your fingertips together just like this and release the wrists. Let your arms have a little bit of shakeout. I mean, wrist warm-ups are really helpful and can be really valuable in practice. I like to do them after we've kind of started to warm up the body simply for a few minutes, because what that does, it allows us to get the blood flowing, the muscles start engaging, as opposed to just doing it from cold. All right, downward facing dog, you got this. Big breath in, long breath out. Let's lift the right leg to the sky, please. Step forward to crescent lunge. Inhale like we've done before. And let's build on it. Exhale, Abhaya Mudra, push it away, reverse lunge. Good. Now from here, scoop back up to a crescent lunge. And then exhale, open to a warrior two. Now from a warrior two, and you'll see I'm got my back to you, but I can still see you, is with this front hand, instead of down, I want this front hand away. So I want you to press away. You know, like those movies where like the walls are closing in, I want you to push the walls away. So you're in this action of warrior two. Good, now reverse the warrior. Inhale, reach up. Extended side angle, right elbow down, left hand up. Now as that left hand goes over your head, today instead, what I'd like you to do with that left hand is I'd like you to reach it forward and reach it up. So now you're essentially pressing up. Good. Now from this action of pressing up, if you have a block, you can use it. Otherwise, take your right fingertips down to the floor and reach and hold the ceiling up on top of you. Take a big breath in, long breath out. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, cartwheel to the floor, chaturanga dandasana, high to low plank, and I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Exhale, take it all the way back. Good. Inhale your left leg to the sky. Now I can see you. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, push it away. Come back through the lunge. Warrior two, straight away. Push the walls away. Now steady here in your warrior two as you push those walls away. So that expansion here isn't just from the hands. It starts actually here from the collarbones. It starts from this action of pushing it away. And we expand. That expansion is what creates space. It's not just my wrists are doing this. It's everything from my collarbones down and out my arms are expanding. And then I reverse the warrior. Breathe in. Extended side angle. That top hand goes towards the ceiling, presses the ceiling away. And what that's going to do, it's going to lift the shoulder. It's going to lift that carriage, even though we're taking the bottom hand down to the fingertips. So now there's a spaciousness. A lot of times that action, if you're just pushing from your hands, you only have the strength of your hands. And if I'm expanding across the collarbones, I have the strength of my whole upper body. Take a big breath in. Long exhale. Reverse the warrior, breathe in. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. If you want to go through chaturanga, you're welcome to. Cobra is the up dog. Downward facing dog is the exhale. Settle in down dog for a moment and breathe. See how that is and see how that feels to let the body prepare and set up. And that's what I want you to do in this practice, is give yourself the gift of effort, space, and a willingness to explore. We're going to do that same sequence again now in flow, which means the breath is guiding you, not just the action. Everything is moving you so the space becomes expansive. You're in downward facing dog. Let's breathe together. Don't move. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg to the sky. Step forward, lunge. Inhale. Exhale, Abhaya Mudra, push it away. Inhale, everything goes up. Abhaya Mudra, warrior two. Exhale, open. Inhale, reverse. Extended side angle. Now push both hands away. Inhale. Stay on the exhale. Reverse is the inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana. And now you start to see how the breath helps to navigate when we're ready for these actions. And that's a lot of times how life is, left leg to the sky. You have to find the rhythm or the willingness to be fearless matches with what is needed. Inhale. Matches with the capacity that you have. Exhale. Not every moment of your life can you be fearless. Breathe in. Sometimes it's about the right rhythm. Stay. Inhale. High to low plank. And you don't always need someone telling you when to go. You just find the feeling. Last round. Breathe with me. Exhale. You know how it fits you. You know when there's a resistance. You know when then it's just a necessary need for action. Part of the practice is listening, trusting. Am I ready for this? And if I'm not, can I be ready for this? When you get back to downward facing dog, lift your left leg. Step forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, push it away. Inhale. Exhale. Your rhythm doesn't have to match mine. I'll meet you in down dog. When you get back to downward facing dog, rather than taking a rest here, bring your fingertips together like Abhaya Mudra at the top of your mat, bend your knees, jump to Malasana or walk. We'll talk about it here. How are we doing? Now, if you're anything like me, it's getting warm. The body's moving into action. And sometimes, if we just put it through the lens of a yoga practice, you can be a little bit unprepared of what's coming. You can go, oh, that posture, that sequence that's built that heat, wasn't expecting that. That's a beautiful byproduct of stepping into the unknown. Knowing as well that you have capacity, capability, and also realizing that sometimes you might need a moment or two to catch your breath, to resettle, to ground. And that's part of what the practice is. Dare I say, part of what life is to catch your breath when you need to, settle when you need to, but be willing to explore. And I think sometimes we can put this idea of fearlessness into something huge or grand or epic. Yes, jumping out of an airplane is having no fear, but so is, trying something new. Trying a new food or a new style of practice, putting yourself out there for something that you're not sure you're ready for. Sometimes it's just the idea that you're doing something out of rhythm to what you're most comfortable with. And so it is about listening, but then it's also about being aware of where we maybe settle too quickly. And that's what this practice is. And you can see how that lives or exists, and I'm just going to put a block in. You can see how that lives or exists in a posture like this. Or you might say, oh, happy here, comfy here. After a few breaths, you might go, oh, my knee is doing weird things. Or this might not be the place for me. That's okay. And it's not about sticking through it through misery and pain and discomfort. It's about just the willingness to explore and then adjusting, adapting. One of the stories my teacher used to always say is that fearlessness is about getting in the boat and being willing to go out into the ocean. But the gift of being on that boat is you have sails that you can adjust to change the direction or to catch the wind to take you and help you along the way. What this practice is you knowing that even though we're out in open water, you still have the technique, the know-how, the choice to make the journey work for you. If you've already been here in Malasana and you're really committed to the seat of it, well done. Take a big breath in and a long exhale. And then all I'd love for you to do is place your hands down, lift your seat, and just be in some version of a fold, but with really soft knees. Really soft knees. And like with any practice, what would fearlessness be if we didn't try to fly? Because boats fly sometimes. Or just that idea of we can see that firsthand when it comes into life. So we're going to work towards a crow pose or any version of it. And the way I'd like to start today is I'd like you just get your fingertips down and bend your knees generously. But don't go off the ground, just lift your heels up. Slide your fingers back and lift your balls or your feet up. So you're just in this rocking action. And what your first bit of flight is just navigating how your base gets a little unsteady. You need to move the fingers to do this. And I stay on the fingertips, not flat hands, because it's going to let you help adjust a bit more. And you just do this 3, 4, 5, 10 times. It's quite a nice preparation, I tend to find. You can use blocks if you need. And today the variation I want you to play with is this. Hands go down, heels go up, knees to the back of the triceps, and just shift your weight forward. Maybe it's one heel, maybe it's two, and either which way you come back to Malasana. Do that a few times. Hands down, hips up, rock your heels back, rock your heels forward. So don't just go back to flying. Keep doing these little adjustments, sail adjustments. Then when you're ready, hands down, knees up, heels up, one heel, maybe two heels. Put it down. So it's more about the adventure as opposed to the accomplishment. And all I want you to do is see how that lands. If you're someone who's super comfy upside down and you do catch your crow and you are flying, then just shoot it back to low plank. That can be that next adventure for you. That looks and feels like this if you're in that shape. And if not, that's a place to practice. We'll be back in downward facing dog. Big breath in, long breath out. Walk yourself to the top of the mat. Take a halfway lift. I'm going to face you, but you're down the mat. And then forward fold. And then stand up for me, please. One of the things I think about often when I'm practicing or planning a class is how do I bring the intention to life through the body? So if I'm working towards something that's fearless, something that's about willingness, I've got inversion postures, I've got challenging balance postures, and I've got standing postures. So here's where we're going to move. I'd like you to come into a version of tree pose, but a slightly different version today. You're going to go left foot down, right foot up. And I just want you to take a nice wide tree. You've got your hands out wide, Abhaya Mudra. And here's what I'd like you to do. So if this is the inhale, the exhale is hands together, foot together. So inhale here. Now exhale, move it away. You can extend it as far as it works for you. Inhale. Now I need you to feel like you're pressing against something. Exhale. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, move it away. Inhale. Exhale, move it away. Last one. Inhale, move it up. Find the tree pose wherever the foot lands and stay. Now what we've done is you've fired up the body. So now your left foot is probably talking to you a little bit. And what is happening is now through that action, you started to work with the engagement, but you're also starting to work with foot fatigue. So now I want you to stay into this breath, stay into the pose, and then just use your hands wherever you need to steady. For me, that's probably about here today. It's not like a shape I would kind of say, go here, but for me, this is where I feel steady. You might be here. You might be here. Big breath in. Long exhale. And then release. Shake your foot up. You okay? I know it's a little bit of a different way to practice today because we can always flow for flow's sake, but for today I want to explore. Second side. Right foot down. Good. Ready? Exhale, move it away. Inhale. Try not to lean too far. Exhale. If it's help, keeps the knee bent. I'm going to do 5, so we've got 2 more to breathe through. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Exhale. Good. Find tree pose, Vashisthasana. And what you'll notice is that foot fatigue on that right foot is probably a little bit more than usual. And again, find that place where you can press away to find or to settle the wobbles. Steady the eyes. Steady the breath. Big inhale. And then release. Shake it out. Notice how that feels now as you reground. Come back to Tadasana, eyes closed, and stand on your own 2 feet. I don't know about you, but for me it feels a little bit more steady. Even though it feels used, as in like you've used them. Oftentimes when we look into this idea of a practice, it's about moving through so that there is a knowingness that comes from the practice. Oftentimes this idea of courage or fearlessness is usually based on this idea that we don't know uncertainty. But now when you open that door and walk through it, or you try that thing and see, or you do these tree poses in a weird way, you know a little bit more. Things are a little bit more certain. And so perhaps the task is the same, but the uncertainty is less. And the more you do that, even on the littlest things by different variations of a yoga pose, the more you start to trust that it will all work itself out. It will all be okay in the end. Let's twist, please. We're going to come back to the right side. Left foot down, right knee is up. Flex your right toes. Stand up and sit up nice and tall, please. Take your left hand over the front of your right knee. So you start to feel that twist coming through. But you need this connection point, so this pressing of the knee into the hand. And then with your right hand, reach it up and circle it back. And start to turn the chest to your right wall. And then turn your right hand, Abhaya Mudra, to the wall behind you. And your eyes will land wherever they land. And then I need you to expand. So you press into that right foot. I'll do it down the mat so you can see me. Press into that left hand. Open and peel it up. Stand taller. And you see in many ways, when you dorsiflex or activate that standing right foot, that's Abhaya Mudra down there. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release. By these dorsiflex actions or these actions of pressing things away, you're creating stability with what you can control. There's so many wonderful messages within that we can keep. Second side, please. Left foot. Left foot lifts up. Flex and dorsiflex. Outside of that left knee. Sit the spine tall. Turn the spine. Press it away. And again, it's not about how still you can be. It's about how you continue to adjust through the wobble, the uncertainty. How you can manage the moment rather than control it. Big breath in. Exhale, come back to your 2 feet. Good. Let's put a little bit symmetrical engagement in the body, please. Take a moment to jump a few times so the body can kind of repattern standing. Bend your knees, chair pose. Good, now you're facing down the mat, I'm facing towards you, so we're doing this together. From chair pose, lift your heels as high as they go. And then lower your seat halfway down. And then lower your seat almost to the back of your heels. You might get a click or two of the knees. That's normal as you get a bit older. Heels up. Take a big breath in. Reach your hands forward. Lower your seat. Boat pose. From boat pose, hold onto the backs of your knees or the fronts of your knees. If you don't need your hands on your knees or your legs, that's fine. You can send them forward. But either which way, I want the heart to lift. Beautiful. Now from this shape, keep your left hand wherever it needs to be. Take your right hand out to the side. Take your left hand out to the side. And then if you need to, hold back on again. If you're okay with your hands out to the side, what you're doing is you're moving the weight back, which means you have to control the upper body torso a little bit more. Take a big breath in. Exhale, put your heels down. Curl your knees. Rest for a moment. Because you're doing a wonderful job working through the practice. All right, reach your arms forward with your feet on the floor, please. And ever so slowly now roll yourself down to the earth. Control the flow as you come down to the earth. And straight away as you hit the floor, lift your knees up to the sky. Sit on top of your hands or use a block. Just take a moment to let the legs get upside down. Slow the breath. Big breath in. Long breath out. What is it that we can let go of today that potentially isn't needed to help us move forward? Another lesson that we can learn in the practice is perhaps sometimes we're just too comfortable where we are, or holding on to too much to allow ourselves to try new things, move into uncertain places. We've built too big of an identity or an expectation for ourselves. All right, let's do this. As you rock yourself back up to a seat, I'll do this facing forward, bring your left leg underneath you. And as your left leg is underneath you, just like this, take your right leg, and I'd like you to do one of two things. We're gonna work to a double pigeon, so you can either put it in front for a box position, or you can put it on top. Now what I would love to see you do is sit on something that just gets your pelvis a little bit higher. And of course, if that's not for you, or if you don't have anything to hand, that's okay. But as always, when you practice with me, we lift, scoot the bum back, turn tilt the hips forward. So it's that lift, scoot, and tilt. And now what you're gonna feel is this top leg has a little bit more space to operate. Sometimes it'll land a little bit higher, just like this. Sorry you can't see me because I'm black on black. And sometimes this space has the ability to fold. And I'm not actually gonna work with it in any which way of manipulation, no hands, no blocks, nothing. I'm just gonna let the breath settle it. And then on my next inhale, I'm just gonna fold it forward. And you'll see that that thigh bone just drops right down. Sometimes I'll offer the idea of the forearms on the upper leg for today. I don't think you need it. I'd rather you just be where it feels like it can land. Big inhale in. Long exhale out. And when you're ready, gently roll yourself up. Put your hands behind you, and you can just wiggle the legs out any which way that feels like it's nice for you today. And then we'll do the second side. That's the same side. So whatever leg was on top is on the bottom, and vice versa. If you're not sure, because it's easy to get confused, I get confused sometimes, do the side you want to do and then switch because it's probably the other side. Lift, scoot, and tilt. And again, you see that whole thigh bone drops down. Take a breath in and let the fold come. What I like about this theme or this idea is that in a lot of ways, no one can really do it for you, right? Short of someone pushing you out of the airplane, no one can make you bungee, or no one can make you skydive without you choosing to get going. And so part of that is, it's what do we feel? What do we fear? What's unknown or uncertain in front of us? And sometimes the question I'll ask is, what happens if you don't? What might you miss out on if you don't try? What are you leaving on the table if you are unwilling to change? And again, you could slice this up all kinds of different ways, and you can always have a perspective of either or. But for today, what happens if you approach this practice, maybe just this practice, with a willingness to see? You can roll yourself up and send the legs out. And then go ahead and lie back down on the floor. As you lie back on the floor, you might find it's nice for the legs to be somewhere. You might even like to kind of pedal them out like you're on an upside down bicycle. That's kind of an old school bit of fun that we used to do in the practice. And then all I'd like you to do is have a moment upside down. And whether that is as simple as hips on your hands or hips on a block like I'm doing, it could be as much as anything else that works for you. If you want to go all the way up or take it all the way over. You could do a bridge pose or even a wheel pose. I just want the hips upside down. And as you stay there and as I sit up to be with you, part of this is navigating into a place where you can now settle through a practice. You know, like that metaphor we've been using of not knowing what's on the other side of the door. Once you open the door and you go head first through it, when you get onto the other side, it's about now, where am I? How do I feel? What's going on here? It's just that sensibility or that awareness that comes from it. And that is the practice. That is something that comes with time. And the more doors you open and you walk through, unknowing what's on the other side, the more it becomes easier, even though it's still uncertain. It's kind of, it's not throwing care out the door or consideration. It's just maybe glass half full. What could be? What might be? Wherever you are now into your practice, start to think about how you want to start to close it. If you're upside down in something like a shoulder stand or a plow pose, start to move through that sequence to get you back to the floor. If your legs are just up on a block or up in the air, maybe bring them to your chest and settle yourself down. And start to consider what last postures you might want or need in closing. And that can be as simple as a twist, knees side to side, happy baby. I like to leave a lot of space at the end for you just to kind of navigate and listen. In most cases, you don't need me to tell you how to get comfortable and settle, even though I'm here if it's helpful. It's about, in many ways, letting the intellect be put aside so that the energy can settle into a place where it's felt and where it becomes valuable for your time and practice. And that in many ways is what this is all about. We come to the mat with maybe an intention to move, and we arrive with an offering of something a little bit deeper, an exploration or a philosophy that says, what if we look over here today while we do our practice, while the asana helps shape the attention? And what do we feel because of it? What can we take onwards with us? And so as always, you can take all the time you need here to rest. But if you'd like to close practice with me today, we are going to gently start to find our way up into a seat to do one closing pranayama. And so if that's you today, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Open and outstretch yourself in a way that you can roll over and find a seat. And the closing pranayama for practice falls in this path of what we've been doing all practice, which is a kapalabhati, a cleansing and a clearing, a removing of that stale energy in the body, but in turn this idea of removing the stale or the unneeded obstacles that block the energetic purity, clarity. We'll do it very simply. We'll do 3 rounds of them, each round 30, but we'll move through a slow, a moderate, and a fast pace. And if you're familiar with Kapalabhati, it's the cleansing and clearing breath. And if you're unfamiliar, the abdomen draws in and up with a sharp exhalation and a passive inhalation. So if you'd like to do these rounds with us, we'll start with the clearing breath. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. We'll do a round of 30 that feels like this pace. Inhale. Begin. Four, 3, 2, 1. Breathe all the way in. Long exhale. Second round a little bit faster. Breathe all the way in. Begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe all the way in. Clear the exhale. Last quick round. Breathe all the way in. Begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe all the way in. Clear the exhale. Bring your hands together at the center of the heart space. In this practice that helps us clear the path for what lies on the other side of uncertainty. Abhaya Mudra, the fearlessness that comes through the connection that we find to our own self. If that suits you today, we'll close the practice with one breath and one Om. Take a deep inhale in. Fully exhale. Inhale. We honor the space of the practice in all that it is. And if you'd like, together we say, Namaste. Well done, yogis, for practice. It's so nice to have you in the room. It's so nice to practice with you today. And as always, I look forward to seeing you again soon.